The world has been ravaged by war. The cause? People clearly being too emotional. After all, if we were not led by our emotions, then surely the world would prosper. But at what cost? You must ban works of art such as paintings, music, poetry, and obviously cute puppies. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. In this week's episode of our It's the End of the World as We Know It series, we'll be looking at 2002's sci-fi action cinematic masterpiece, Equilibrium.
Are we having theme music? Like, how do we... Is it just start with us talking?
Yeah, Dave's going to do us some, like, a jingle, I think.
Dave.
Nah.
Danielle.
2 lines and 11.
Welcome back to the 2 Lines and 11 movie podcast, where we take a look at movies from past and present and any genre imaginable. For this week's episode, I'll be your host, and my name's Nat, and as usual, I'm joined by my 2 co-hosts, Danielle and Dave. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. I must give you no emotion.
So before we head into
You're
the
shot
wastelands
straight
of our
away, Nat.
I know, sorry. I saw a cute puppy somewhere. So before we head into the wastelands of our next dystopian selection, let's take a look at what we've each been separately consuming this week. Now, by consuming, we don't mean eating, although it can be, but rather what media have you been consuming? Perhaps it could be movies, TV shows, books, games. Danielle, we're going to start with you.
To be honest, the main thing I've been consuming this week have been things that I mentioned in the last 2 episodes, which are Love Island and the library shelving game. But in the midst of all of that, I've also finished reading a book, so I thought I would tell you about that. Especially because I had a power outage on Thursday, and there was absolutely nothing for me to do but sit and read. And I realized how strong the modern urge is to pick up your phone, and with only 40% battery, I really had to suppress that urge. So the book I read is called The Ending Writes Itself. It's by Evelyn Clark, which is a pseudonym for 2 authors, V.E. Schwab and Kat Clark, who are both, I think Kat Clark is a screenwriter. V.E. Schwab has written a bunch of fantasy books that are quite popular.
Yeah. And
this one is like a closed-door mystery, but by closed door meaning on an isolated island. So it's very much the vibe of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The premise is it's a very famous mystery writer has died. His editor and agent invite a group of mid-level authors to complete his final work. He's left his final book in a series very nearly finished, except for as the ending says, the ending itself. So
yeah,
you've got a pair of thriller writers who are a couple. You've got a horror writer, a sci-fi writer, romance, young adult, etc. And it's, again, like the last book I talked about, which I guess is a theme of things that I enjoy to read, is multiple viewpoints. But because they're these different genre authors, they have a very different take on what's going on. So the narratives are all very, it feels like a number of different viewpoints in this. I really enjoyed it. I like a nice little cozy mystery. It's just a nice little mystery, and I recommend.
Nice. How about you, Dave?
I watched a film called Spoiler Alert today. It was all right. I saw bits of it on Instagram. It popped up, and I was like, "This looks kind of interesting. I'll check it out." It's got Jim Parsons and Ben Aldridge, but they play a newly developed couple, and it's about their journey, how they met, and one of them gets sick, and then...
I have heard of this now that you say it.
It's based on some guy's... the writer's not some guy. He's called Michael. His memoirs about his relationship and stuff like that. The bit that I was interested... Because in the bit I saw was Jim Parsons invites him back to his house, his flat, and he's a bit wary about it. He's like, "Oh, do we have to go? We can go back to yours. Don't have to come back to mine." He's got some sort of secret in there, and they finally get there. When he opens the door, it's just filled with Smurf memorabilia everywhere, psycho amount of Smurf memorabilia. But yeah, all in all, the film was alright. It weren't as sad as I thought it was going to be. It almost felt like the characters were second-hand characters. They weren't interesting enough to. They were going for a journey and everything, but I don't know if they didn't play it strong enough to make me care about them. What have you been doing, Nat?
This week I have been watching an old BBC period drama that first aired back in 2012,
Is it North and South?
No, it's not. That definitely aired a lot earlier than 2012. It's called The Paradise. It lasted for 2 seasons. It's currently showing on Amazon Prime, which is where I found it again. But I've been rewatching it. I haven't seen it since 2012, and I'm like thoroughly enjoying it. Basically, it follows like this country girl called Denise who travels to the city for work, and she gets a job in ladies' wear in a department store called The Paradise. It's just kind of like, it's almost like kind of like Downton, in that you've got like the stories of like the rich people that are like buying stuff in the store, but you've also got like the people that work in the store, and they all kind of live down in the like underground part, and it's like their relationships and stuff. But it's like, it's run by this guy called Mr. Murray, and he's like a charismatic businessman who puts like the store above everything else. So now on to the main event and our discussion of the movie Equilibrium. So what's the movie about for those who haven't seen it before? The story follows cleric John Preston, who is a law enforcer in a futuristic world where after the Third World War, they have implemented a strict routine where everyone must take a daily dose of a medication that suppresses their emotions. To better aid this suppression, works of art, books, music are forbidden. But there are those in the resistance that refuse to take the daily drug and are openly feeling. They also have great vaults stored with all sorts of mementos, music, and even famous artworks like the Mona Lisa, which they're trying to protect from destruction. But when John accidentally misses a dose, he too starts to feel, causing him to also not want to continue taking the drug again. But as a cleric of the highest order, all eyes are on him as he gets a new officious partner, adopts a puppy that was sentenced to death, and falls somewhat in love with Mary, a woman who was in love with his previous partner who had been sentenced to be burned for being a sense offender. We join John in his new mission to overthrow the government and help others to start feeling again too. So we'll kick off our discussion today with our usual question: have you seen Equilibrium before? Danielle?
I hadn't. I think... No. I hadn't seen it when it first came out. I think they didn't promote it very well in the US, and if I read properly the trivia, I think they didn't really put it out in US theaters because it did so well internationally. They didn't want to take a loss for it.
That's right, yeah.
I was vaguely aware of it, and it looked very much like a Matrix ripoff to me when it came out. And then I think I watched it in within the last 5 or 6 years because I heard somebody talking about it on another podcast.
So if you're not enjoying this one, go watch
that one. but no, I think the thing that made me seek it out is that the other podcast was making fun of the gun kata, and I was like, I gotta see this for myself.
The gung fu, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Dave?
I've not seen it at all. The only thing that I've seen on multiple clips online of Sean Bean getting shot in the face with a book, holding up a book. That's the only clip I've seen. Again and again. I think there's a show reel of Sean Bean's death.
There is, and that one is, prominently on there.
Prominently on there,
Morbid.
No, I've not seen it. I've heard of it, but it's never... I didn't think it was going to be the film, another film where I thought it was going to be something different.
What did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be more like lawyers and political statements rather than like gung fu, saving dogs and... I thought it was going to be a lot more like just society talking about things. And
I don't remember when I first saw it, but I would imagine it was quite close to when it came out, because I feel like I've had the DVD for years. I don't know. There's just something about it that I just find, like, I suppose with Matrix, it's more of like a convoluted story, whereas this one is kind of like, it has got a lot of similarities to Matrix in certain aesthetic, I suppose, areas, but it's like just its own standalone little thing. And it's just kind of like a fun action movie.
You know what it's like? It's a mixture of Hunger Games mixed with Matrix. That's the vibe I'm getting. There's like people who are lower down on the peg who are trying to get these emotions, and it's got like that sort of grayscale kind of look at the buildings, the way people are dressed. And then you've got the Matrix style with the fighting and the glasses and some of the things.
Well, most obviously, the way that the clerics dress, I think, is sort of a visual cue to the Matrix. For me, I mean, we'll get into it, but I enjoyed it, but I felt like the story was a bit derivative of some of the more famous dystopian literature out there. It's like 1984, where it's got these large screens everywhere, and the father character is very much Big Brother. And then at one point, he goes into a room, and they've got all these screens with workers at it, probably like modifying things. That's from 1984. Fahrenheit 451 is all about finding books and burning them, and this underground of people trying to save literature. And then Brave New World was all about everybody having to take this emotion-stopping drug. So I felt it was very influenced by the genre.
If you were in that world, what art form would you miss the most? Were it like paintings, books, music?
Probably books, but also music, I think. But I think maybe more music, because you can kind of replicate stories in your brain, but the music is never going to have the same. Your memory of it is not going to kind of
do it justice.
Be as good. Yeah, do it justice. Thank you.
Yeah. Dave?
I'd say paintings.
Really?
Because
that does surprise me.
Not because I want to see paintings. I like the idea that people... I'm not bothered, Mona Lisa's gone. Fair enough. But it's more like the act that we ourselves can't paint things and draw and do artistic stuff. Apparently, unless you're like the guy who owns the place who can have the Atlas statue.
Yeah.
It's the only piece of art you can keep.
Yeah.
But no, I think I've got that thing in my flat with the handprints and on the tree, and so that would have to be, I would be taken away for doing something like that. But like everyone having bland white walls or black walls, just I think colour and painting, I'll go with that. That's my thing.
I think I agree with you in that it would be music, in very much the same strain as the guy from Clockwork Orange. I can't remember his name now.
Alex,
yeah. In the, I mean, it's funnily enough, they use Beethoven in both films to kind of showcase the emotion that they're feeling over a piece of music. Yeah, I feel like for me it would be music, because you get that kind of an auditory response.
Apparently the director, because I was talking to Nat about this from the film, I was like, that guy smiled, that one's looking a bit angry. But the director said, well, we didn't want a film, although it's all about having no emotion, but we didn't want a film where everyone spoke like a robot. So they wanted a little bit of character in there. So they were like, people just they can complain or go, oh, that person smiled or something, but you're allowed to have something. And otherwise it would just be too stale. So that kind of makes sense in the storytelling aspect. Because if they were all just... Yes, I would agree. Because he was like that at the start, wasn't he? Christian Bale. But then other people were a little bit more expressive, and he slowly... I guess because we're watching his journey, you could see him get a bit more expressive as time goes on.
Speaking of how time goes on, I read an interesting fact that I never quite cottoned on to, but now I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. In that, when it first starts and he goes in and kind of like massacres that like resistance group, although he's like shooting here, there and everywhere, there's not that much blood. But as the movie progresses, the violence kind of ups the ante, and there is blood and there is like more like visual gore, and it's to like mimic his sensitivity, because now he's feeling when the violence is going on. He's seeing the blood, he's seeing the gore and what's been like done to these people. And I thought that was quite
he's cutting off faces.
Yeah, which was like so quick, that fight.
Yeah.
There's kind of a nice moment when he's starting to come off the drug, where he shoots somebody, and then you actually see him noticing it, where he picks up his gun and there's some blood on it, and he kind of wipes it off and realizes that it's not just, maybe it's some sort of speaking to, how they say kids are all like desensitized now because of video games and all the shooting and stuff, and you don't really think about the death of it all, but it's like transitioned from that to like real human lives being taken whenever he goes into these mass shooting.
Yeah.
Every raid in this thing was like full automatic weapon to the max waste. Like the bullet industry in this world like is really doing well, because they like both sides are just like at each other.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of bullets. There's like the walls are just like pitted with bullet marks pretty much the whole time.
There was one point I noted that like drywall was like puffing out of the walls from the holes.
When did you think that the movie was set? Like, what year?
That's a hard one, because we saw pictures of Sean Bean and Emily Watson together, and it looked like they were just like in a wood cottage somewhere having like a Center Parks holiday. And I'm like, but this feels like way in the future, so I don't know.
In the montage of events at the beginning, I think I at least noted Saddam Hussein. So I figured it was somewhat close to the time that it was filmed. It was supposed to be like an alternate universe to after that. So like sometime in the early 2000s.
So it was actually set in 2072.
Oh.
Way
so
off.
it hasn't even happened yet.
Center Parks is doing well then.
It's still going.
It's still going.
But yeah, I was surprised by that. I thought it would have been earlier.
You know why it surprises me? Because they've got all of this, they've got like blimps that are like floating like everything looks sort of modern, but they're driving like 1990s cars.
Yeah, that have just been like painted white basically. A lot
yeah,
of the time.
I was like, what is that sedan he's driving? It looks so old.
I don't know, the blimps and stuff, I was saying to Nat, I was like, this is very sort of like World War II occupied Germany Nazi law at the moment because of the logo they've got. You were like, no, it's not. And we looked at it, it was like, yes, it is. And they're like, the worst message from the people they were trying to do was the whole fact that to stop war, to stop violence and all this, we have to get rid of art and stuff. However, we are going to go around and gun down all these people. So you're kind of like hypocritical in that sense, because it's like...
They're like, there's no murders anymore. Well, isn't
apart
there?
from you guys. Yeah.
Except
there's no war. Well, there is a war. It's a war against art.
Yeah, and also the resistance
against
against the government. So there is still a war.
there comes a point where they do one raid and they're like, no prisoners. Everybody has to be shot down or incinerated. Yeah, that was the wildest to me. Like, their go-to way of killing people is walk them into a fire. Would elicit the most amount of emotional response.
Well, I saw another thing that was supposedly like people like it's kind of like a goof, I suppose, in that when John Preston's wife gets taken, like they let him watch her go into the fire.
Yeah.
But they're like, but that would elicit an emotional response, surely. Like if they're trying to make like, oh, don't show people anything that could warrant an emotional response, like they shouldn't have let him go into that room.
I thought they were testing him a bit with that, though. I thought that's what I thought, that he had to be present to prove that he wasn't also a sense offender?
Sense offender, yeah. Be careful.
It's careful.
I was going to say sensual offender.
I was like, Nat, what did he say?
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
sure?
sense.
Sense.
The other part
they
about...
must have done some bloopers on set with that.
Probably. The other part about that scene where his wife gets arrested is it shows like his children standing in the doorway and he looks at them as she gets dragged out. But they're the same age that they are now, and it was meant to have happened like 4 years ago.
Oh, the kids, yeah.
His children is like the same. Who apparently Daniel Radcliffe auditioned to be his son.
Oh.
What did you think of his son?
I thought he reminded me of a Hitler Youth.
Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's like, Father, shall we do this now?
Did you know straight away that he wasn't taking his dosage?
No.
You did. You thought he was like evil.
I thought he was going to be the downfall. Yeah, I thought he was going to report him. The daughter, I was less clear of what was going on with her. We only see her a glimpse at the breakfast table with like too much cereal and like playing with it.
Yeah.
And then we know that the son is going to the monastery. He's like being indoctrinated. What does the daughter do all day?
Yeah, no idea. She just sits there. Well, yeah, because my thing, I said to Dave when I was watching it, I was like, well, her sitting there, kind of slumped over her cereal with her hand on her head, like supporting her head. Like, she looks like she's depressed. I was like, she clearly is feeling some sort of an emotion. Like, why are they not like, what's wrong with you?
But the drug was clearly like a stand-in for Prozac.
Oh,
like it's called Prozium.
Apparently it was Valium and Prozac is how they got the name.
And it made me wonder if it was also some sort of statement, because, early 2000s is when people were really starting to get prescribed SSRIs a lot more frequently. I wondered if it was some sort of statement to that, like, oh, we're all deadening our senses by taking Prozac.
The fact that he misses one dose and then he already starts to have feelings, like, I feel like that's a big fail-safe, like, in your a production error, that it should take more than you missing one dose to start having your emotions.
They kind of set up early that he's an empath, whether he can feel or not. Like, his big skill is he's able to, like, anticipate when, like, he can tell when somebody has stopped taking their medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And so that leads me, that's coded to me that he's empathetic, whether or not he can chemically feel emotion or not. And so maybe he was predisposed to, like, missing one dose and suddenly he's, like, feeling everything in the world.
Yeah.
Especially being so, like, driven to be, like, not emotional and, like, this is the way, like, Sean Bean bang in the face. And all it took was, like, a half an hour of not having an extra bit of a dose. And he's like, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Sean Bean was, right on the cusp of he could have been saved there. The other issue I have with the whole, like, banning things so you don't have emotions is apparently your duvet also would bring about emotions, because
I know
all of these films that are like futuristics, nobody has a duvet anymore. They just sort of lay there on like a slab.
Yeah,
I didn't understand the bed situation. I wondered if, like, married people had to have two separate beds so that they wouldn't, feel like marital emotion.
I assume so.
I wasn't sure if that was like a cot because he could no longer sleep in the bed he shared with his wife, but whenever they panned out, the other bed looked like a single-person bed, too.
I assumed that it was like they were married, but to have kids, it was like an official thing. It was just like, right, you need
medical procedure.
Yeah, to put like a request in to be like, we want to add to our household. Okay, like stamp approved kind of thing.
Yeah. Going to the love room.
Yeah.
Don't say love though. This is procreate room.
What did you think of his relationship with the Emily Watson character?
I think it wasn't needed.
Yeah.
It felt very like, why is it here? You're prolonging the story from ending with this character. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I liked her. I thought, I liked that they tied her back to his partner, and so that kind of gave him an emotional tie to her that way. And then, he's suddenly like a teenage boy feeling all these, like, emotions about it, like, oh, rain, that makes me cry, oh, this. And so, of course, the first woman he sees that isn't, like a sexless drone, he starts feeling a throb for, I guess. And they make her they make her such like a romantic, like, she's so bohemian looking.
Like her hair.
She's got like she's got these loose curls, and everything she wears is like a little loose, like it could come down a little bit and you could see some boob on her. She's got these like electric blue eyes. And then even when they've got her in jail, it was like they gave her access to lipstick. She's got
and like all these dresses and things. But it's like nobody else is wearing these dresses. Why have they given it? Like, the thing that Dave pointed out was when they actually go to be like burned, they put them in like these reflective cloaks.
Yes.
But they take the cloaks
with
off of them before they go into the incinerator.
They're playing a game of traitors before finishing. Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, I was like, do they reuse those hoods?
Obviously, like they.
Yeah. We got 6 more after this.
Yeah. You get to wear it to walk up to the incinerator, and then you got to take it off.
Yeah, we need to wash these.
But
too many tears on there.
I don't think he felt the same love he felt for his wife with her. I think there was like, she sort of symbolized a connection to, like, his friend who he had to kill, and then also this underground movement.
Oh, he had more affection for that stupid puppy than his kids or that
Take
lady.
that back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
that
but that
puppy.
was the part when the puppies got involved. That's when I kind of clocked out.
You did.
I was like, this isn't the film I thought it was going to be.
I said,
to like,
Danielle's going to love this bit of the movie.
Like, that dog was cute. I'm not going to lie, it was adorable, but it just didn't feel like that didn't need to be in the film. The film was so high intense and trying to put this. Yeah, I don't know. You can't have like almost like Nazi kind of style stuff and then have this little. And now he has to save the dog. I don't know. It feels like it's too detachment of what they're trying to say about sort of like society and people need to be. These government people are pushing you down, and it's like. Dog scene. I don't know. It felt it was.
You mean because he kind of watched other people in like the resistance getting murdered, but he kind of went all out to save that puppy,
save this dog. It's like he
was about to murder all the people that turned up when it was in his boot before he got stopped, but he wouldn't have done that for the people.
Puppy didn't hurt nobody.
The film just felt like it was trying to have a bigger message.
So helpless.
I know. The film had like a bigger message and it had this dog scene, and I think that took away for me a little bit more.
I will say the dog is the thing I remember most about this movie. Like, I love that dog.
So Bernie's mountain dog.
Yeah.
So it's going to grow into a massive dog.
They're going to fit in that back of that car.
After like every major scene, I have a note that said, where did he keep the dog at? Where's the dog? Something else would happen. I go, what's the dog doing? Who's watching the dog during the day?
The kids are.
Not yet. No, the kids didn't come on board until very late.
He didn't know the kids were goodies at that point.
I wrote a note to myself. I said, if they don't show us what happened to the dog at the end of the film, I am downgrading this movie by a point. And so luckily...
Did it show us what happened to the dog?
Yeah, they did.
The girl.
Like a fleeting scene of the dog licking the daughter's hand. Like when the resistance is going down.
I can't even remember.
Because you weren't watching for the dog. The dog should have got second billing in my eyes.
Literally, I think important. That the narrative switched over from John to the dog at that
point. Yeah, it should have just been about the dog. Maybe that could have been a better film.
It'd be John Wick.
Yeah,
it would have been John Wick. But it should have just been about him and the dog. And that I would have been happy with that, actually, if it just went to there instead of just having that as a little short scene.
That scene was so tense, though. I know you say... Because it was like the dog ran to him, he picks it up, then like, give me the dog so we can like exterminate it. He kind of hands it back, and then they go to put it on the floor, and he's like, no, actually, no, I'll take the dog. It needs to be studied.
It just seems it might have ticks or something. That I couldn't do. That's why, because I think Christian Bale felt like he was still trying to be this character that was all like, because he was murdering people, and then he just go, I will take the dog. It's fine.
I mean, I can relate. I probably would also be the same.
Silly.
I'd be like, the dog is more important. Dave did point out the fact that he vaguely mentioned earlier about the Atlas statue that was in like the headquarters of the like government building, but we were like, where does the line between art and like architecture kind of cross over here?
Yeah.
Just there. That's the only piece of art I saw, I think, and the big chair. The guy sat, the vice president guy sat on this like large chair
like a
made out of wood. It was like a very like Game of Thrones. Yeah, it was like a throne, but he just looked like a child sitting in it. So I don't know.
Well, if anything, I would argue that gun kata is a bit like dance. It's very choreographed.
I did like the effect of the gun stuff. Then it was all like it felt like sped up in like, I don't know. It was very robotic. Like, do you know when like a robot gun arm moves to the right places? Yeah, it's like it was almost like that, but humans doing it. So that's quite interesting.
Like I think the director created gun kata. You could tell he was very proud of it and wanted to like really hammer home the point of everything that he had come up with it. Because there's so many voiceovers explaining gun kata. There's like a little instructional video at one point. We've got so many scenes of just like the people being trained in gun kata.
The little effect that I liked with the guns when they fire, some of them had like they shot like the gun flash sort of thing, like muzzle flash, was the symbol of like the government thing, like the emblem that Dave had issues with. It fired that shape.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We are evil.
I thought the gun kata really balanced a line between cool and silly. Like, at times, I was like, oh, that's a neat move. And then other times, he's doing, like, a somersault to reload his gun. And I'm like, oh, is that necessary? Did that really?
Yeah, that
and then later points of the film, I was writing, now we're doing pistol whip kata, and now we're doing sword kata.
Now, I think the first scene that you actually see the gun kata is that scene where he bursts through a door and he's in like a pitch black room, and then he starts firing and you just get like the little flashes of where he's shooting, and it shows you like a snapshot of the shape that he's kind of posing almost. But when I remember first watching that, I was like, what is this? Like, because it's quite jarring. Because I was like, first of all, you're just like, oh, maybe it just looks like that because you're only seeing like millisecond snaps of it while the gun's firing. But no, later on, it's like when it's in full, like you can see it all. You're like, oh, that is how he's moving.
The art storage rooms. Why did they all look like 1950s grandma rooms? Like every time they busted in to find art, except whenever it was like in the floor, it was like flowered wallpaper. Yeah. There were like telephones and things in there too. I'm like, that's not really art.
And, like, the only music they find is, like, old LP, like, gramophones. I'm like, where's all the CDs? Where's, like, the Britney Spears CDs and stuff?
Spice World just thrown into the fire.
Yeah, exactly. Dave's like, no, it's a work of art.
No. Jerry Halliwell's dress. The British flag.
But yeah, that makes even less sense that it was in like 2072.
Yeah,
all the art that still exists, and we know this revolution has happened within the characters that we're watching's lifetime. I mean, unless we're led to believe that Sean Bean and Emily Watson's little Center Parks escape was like while he was still in the service.
Well, I do feel like that's how I originally saw it. Like, I thought that he kind of like snuck out to the resistance and like gone on a little mini holiday.
Do you reckon they got rid of the internet and were like, we don't need that?
Well, they haven't even got laptops. When he goes back to his desk to write up his reports, it's all on pen and paper.
Yeah.
So it's like 2072, they're going back to all pen and paper.
They had some sort of screens, though, because there's a room that's like a long hallway with a bunch of people on screens. Like, after he's killed Angus McFadden, he goes to kind of go through the building. And at first I thought, oh, he's gonna take over the holographic image of Father and, like, change everybody in the government's changing all these rules, because now he understands how Father works. But instead, like, there's a big revolution happening outside, and he goes walking down this hall and just shoots all these screens. Pow, 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 for no reason.
That's right, yeah.
So they do have some sort of screens, and they have the big screens on the walls.
How does it end?
How does it end?
I can't remember how it ends.
He shoots like a really big window at the end of that wall, doesn't he? And then he kind of pans to the city outside, and then he says like a little ending monologue being like, we're gonna take back the world kind of thing. But within that it shows him like his children.
Smiles, little dink in his teeth. We're gonna bring back the world. Cut to credits.
You see an explosion, and you see the revolution starting to happen, and then you see his son hear the explosions and look up.
Oh, when he's at school, and then the girl gets licked on the hand by the dog.
And that's how it ends.
And then we're happy because we're like, oh, that's what's happened to the dog.
But prior to that, we didn't touch on the final scene, which is going to be like the big showdown. Like, there's some double crossing, and then we've got Taye Diggs' character is like, haha, I'm gonna kill you, and then that's a fake out, and it's like a 2-second fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the aforementioned face slicing off, which I was trying to remember, is that the effect from Resident Evil? Was that
when they go in the laser room? It's very similar. Yeah.
Christian Bale and Angus McFadden final gun kata scene, where it's just like a slap fight. They're just like,
oh. That's right, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, that duel. Like, Christian Bale's going for it. The other guy, he just looks terrified. If I'd make one move, if I make one wrong move, I'm smacked in the face. Like,
But also,
it's called DuPont.
Yeah, DuPont. I don't think
DuPont,
he would be at the same level as like grammar tongue cleric, like John Preston, who's meant to be like the best person in their like military police. Like, why would he have the same, like, he shouldn't be any sort of adversary for him, really. Right, so I think that brings us to our final ratings of the movie. Usually we do our favourite character, worst character, and our favourite scene, and then we give it our overall score. We will do our favourite and worst characters first. Dave, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with favourite character is Angus, just only because that those shots of like Christian Bale talking to him in that hall room where he's like massive on the wall, like the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
And it's not like he's looking forward at the camera. It's like he's directly looking down at Christian Bale. So I just imagine somewhere in the office he's got like a little cam, like a webcam, and he's put it lower so you can be like,
I'm looking down on you.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking on forward and stuff just to make him like, I am in power. I'm in charge. Worst characters, the dog. Don't think he should be in there. Send him. I would have been straight up though, Christian Bale. I'll bang. Dead, gone, sorted. But if they were guinea pigs, that would have been a different story.
Whatever.
And you wonder why everybody buys you guinea pig stuff. My favorite character was a tie between Bohemian Mary O'Brien with her long curly loose locks and the dog, the unnamed dog, hero of the story. My least favorite character was Vice Consul Angus McFadden, whatever his name was. How about you, Nat?
Mine was a tie for favourite character between the dog, obviously, and John Preston, because I think this may have been the first movie that I saw Christian Bale in. And it left, like, an impression on me. I was like, wow, he's really good. Like, I know this film's a bit cliche and a bit kind of tongue-in-cheek at parts, but I thoroughly enjoyed his performance in it.
My first memory of Christian Bale was in Newsies, the Disney musical.
Oh, really?
You sure it wasn't Mio in the Land of Far Away? That's like...
Oh, yeah. Like Empire of the Sun, when he's, like, really little.
Yeah.
I then learned that he was in Empire. I had seen Empire of the Sun, but didn't clock that like, he wasn't on my radar. But then I knew Christian Bale as a thing when Newsies was out. Maybe because I was at that age where then it was like, oh, he's a cute boy.
And obviously, I didn't watch American Psycho until I was a lot older, so I wouldn't have seen him in that. I only watched American Psycho within, like, the last 5 years, but he was obviously great in that. My least favourite character was Partridge, the Sean Bean character, because I just felt like he didn't do, considering he was like nearly at the same level as John Preston, he didn't do much to hide the fact that he was like not taking his dose. Like, he is like picking up books willy-nilly and putting them in his pocket. Like, he didn't even, like, he calls him out in it in the car. I'm like, oh, why have you taken a book? And he's like, oh, because they miss stuff. But like, at that point where you're like, John's noticed you've got the book, you would be like, well, I better actually check this one in because he's probably going to check on that. But he didn't. He just went off to the rubble place to read it in a church.
Preston does takes the same playbook, though. He's like, oh, gotta take the dog to check it in. So it's
yeah, but he don't get shot, so it's all right.
He's just like a little bit better actor, I guess. Then
yeah. What was everyone's favorite scene?
My favorite scene was Mary's execution. I just thought it was like peak drama and emotion. You know, there's the whole pomp and circumstance of her, like the guards taking her down have like full masks on and full outfits on. Like it's like them doing opera in a world with no art. She's got the dress with the cloak on, and then they put her in, and the incinerator has the T symbol, like the symbol of the clerics or whatever it is, so that he can see her standing there gonna get incinerated. And then you get this like zoom in shot of his eyeball, and you can see her reflected right when the fire comes on.
How about you, Dave?
I'm gonna go the most powerful scene, which is when Preston listens to that piece of music. It's the message of the movie. That's what I'm going to go with.
My only problem with that scene is him actually playing it while they were doing the raid. I was like, what if somebody hears him playing this? Then he's definitely like revealing that he's a sense offender. They should have had a scene with him trying to sneak the gramophone out. Oh no, the gramophone! No, somebody's not going to check this in. Taking it home, and like stuffing it behind the bathroom cabinet. Maybe that's where the dog,
got, like the Mona Lisa strapped to his back.
Maybe the dog was like in that cabinet during the day, like stuffed behind the cabinet.
Oh, the bathroom cabinet.
How about you, Nat? What was your favorite scene?
Mine is something that always makes me laugh every time I watch it, which is when he goes into the church to shoot Sean Bean. The way that Sean Bean raises the book that he's holding as almost like a I can't see you, so you won't be able to see me to shoot me kind of thing. And also just like the cinematic aspect of him shooting through the book, him falling backwards, and then you have all the little pieces of paper kind of fluttering down like confetti.
That, and there's so many perspectives. Like they start at one perspective, and then when he falls over dead, we're like looking from above down on them, and so many different camera shots to get the emotion.
So that brings us to our final scores. Danielle, why don't you kick us off?
I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think for me, it's on par with Dark City last time.
I'm going to give it a 2. I probably wouldn't ever watch it again, but I can see why it's loved by many. It's a cult classic. It's got a lot of fun to it.
I also gave it a 3.5. Like, I know it's not as slick as something like The Matrix or other sort of action-y films, but it has a bit of heart to it, and it's just something that has always kind of stuck with me, that when I think of like an action film, or especially even just like a Christian Bale film, that's the first film I think of. So it's got like a nostalgic value.
I think it does well as like I mentioned up top, it borrows a lot of themes from classic dystopian literature, but I think in itself it's different. Like it's a little different. Like it's derivative of something. Like probably around this time, Matrix was very popular. Movies like The Matrix were getting made, and I think this is a decent one of those.
So anyway, that brings us to the end of this week's dystopian episode. Next week, we will be going back to Dave's choice. I'm very excited to see what he has in store for us next time.
I'm sure he is as well.
You could almost think it's a present.
Oh my god, is this a little hint?
A gift.
I actually don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Your hint's very
I just said the name of the film.
What, the gift?
Is that dystopian?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, we'll see. Well, that's a bye from me.
Bye.
Bye.